Hello, everybody. Uh, Welcome today. My name is Jedi Hammond, and I want to thank you for attending this webinar, preparing for our Dell certifications at Tech Summit. This morning, we're briefly going to go over our competency and service and the certification program, as well as go through some of the individual exams, do some preparation. Before we get started, I do want to let you know this meeting is going to be recorded, and so that'll be made available after we're done if you have any additional reviews you want to do. Also, we have several SMEs on the line as well. If there are any questions you have at any time, feel free to enter them in the chat. Myself or one of the other SMEs will answer promptly. Okay, well, with that, we'll get started. My name is Jedi Hammond. I am a senior product manager here at Dell. I've been here for about 10 years and have many certifications myself. And so that being the case, I am super excited about Dell certifications that we have now. We are building out industry certifications for you as partners and for the rest of the world really as Dell. So very excited about that. And also, we have on the line Kim Metz. She's our Director of Education Services. I'll give her a minute to introduce herself, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, thanks, Jedi. Good morning, everyone. This is Kim Metz. I have been at Dell for 22 years. I tell everyone I started at Dell when I was 7, when there were no labor laws in place. But as Jedi said, we're super excited about the Dell certification program. And I believe that everyone on this call will be at Tech Summit in Barcelona in less than 2 weeks. And so Jedi and myself will also be there as well, and we're looking forward to meeting you in person. And hopefully after this webinar, we'll have our contact information. So if you have any questions or just want to reach out to us, we are happy and are here to help. So thanks, Jedi.
Thank you, Kim. So real quick, our agenda. First, we're going to go over our deployment services competencies briefly at a high level, as well as our Dell certifications, where we're at, and then we're going to really start digging in the meat of it, what you need to do to prepare for your certifications for testing in the next couple weeks when you come up to Tech Summit. Very excited about that. So we're going to let you know what are some good resources to do to prepare for the exam, as well as go through kind of what the exams look like and what to expect while you're there. And then toward the end, we're going to actually look at the exams themselves and provide some examples of what those questions might look like, as well as we've got, like I said, some SMEs on the line that can answer questions about them as we have them. And then we'll have a Q&A there at the end. So real quickly, let's talk about our Partner Direct Competency Program. Many of you are already involved in our competencies, and so this may not be new to you. I'm actually hoping it's not, and we're just doing a review for you. So we do have, what we're focusing on today is our services competencies. Many of you deploy our SC series, PS series, and networking today, or are working toward these competencies. As you achieve these competencies within the Partner Direct program, they enable you to work toward things like doing co-delivery, to be able to deliver deployment services along with kind of Dell's stamp of approval as you go through, and we help you along those lines, building out those deployment services. The areas where we really want to help you is to ensure that you have the expertise, or that your folks have the expertise that they need to be successful, providing both tools as well as learning materials, and then, as we're going to be going through today, the certifications that really give you the ability to validate that you are the expert on site, or that your folks are the experts on site. So I know many of you will be attending Tech Summit to take and will be taking your certification exams while you're there. And those, as you pass those exams, those will help you toward those services competencies. So the requirements, so to speak, is as to get your SC series storage deployment competency, you need to have 2 people that are certified in the SC series storage professional. So we're going to go through what those individual certifications are, and also what other resources are available to you. Once you have 2 people certified, or possibly more, which would be awesome because then you have even more people that are validated at those levels. You can go ahead and apply for these competencies or be able to complete them, as well as work toward doing things like co-deliver. And it also gives you the ability to show your customers, hey, I'm an expert, my company is an expert, and we're able to help you with that. Before I move on from the competencies in general, I also have some other folks. Lorianne is here on the line. Are there any questions around our competencies before we start talking about certifications? And we'll still tie those in as we continue. But if you have any, go ahead and throw them in the chat real quick. Otherwise, we'll talk about kind of what it takes to get those competencies. All right. So our deployment services competencies path, really from a deployment services, right now we have both storage and networking. And in order to get those competencies, you do need to have 2 employees certified. That certification, a Dell Certified Professional in whatever technology it is that you want to deploy. So if we look at that top line there, in order to deploy SC Series storage, which is many or all of you know, that's our compellent platform. You need to take and have 2 people take and pass the Dell Certified Professional SC Series Storage certification exams, and then they will individually be certified, but those will work toward your deployment services competencies for your company. We also have training available that you can sign up for and take. That's available via learndell.com/services certification. You at any point can go out there, view these individual courses. Some of them take, a couple of them take half a day, and then like they can install and configure, so will usually be around 3 to 4 days, depending on the track that you're taking. These are instructor-led trainings. They're available are available online for you to take via a virtual instructor-led delivery, and those will help you toward your certification. I won't say that the training is all that you need, because really what we're doing with certification is validating that you are an expert, so to speak, in this realm. And so it validates not just that you took a training, but also that you have this experience in the industry. So the training will help you toward that if you're not already well experienced in those particular technologies. Once you have 2 people certified, you can go ahead and get that deployment services competency. All right, and again, if you want to take a look at those trainings and the additional materials that are available for scheduling those learnings, they're available via learndell.com/services certification. And again, feel free at any time, if you have any questions, throw it in the chat and we'll take care of you. So let's dig into the meat of certification. So the Dell certifications, what we're doing now is we're building out these certifications meeting the same industry standards and processes as many of the other top certification programs within the industry. I know you're all familiar with Cisco, VMware, Microsoft, etc. There's a very rigorous process that we go through and actually develop these exams using industry experts to build them. And so we're not just validating that you learned something in a class, but we are truly validating that you are that you are an expert, or you are a professional, or you're an associate in your field, in your track. These exams are available and delivered via Pearson VUE. You can go out, and I'll show you toward the end of this how to go out and schedule for your exams at any time. You can go and take it at the Pearson VUE centers. We also, as all of you know, are going to be delivering the proctored Pearson VUE delivered exams at Tech Summit. So that's awesome, right? They're all for you all that are signed up and have been signed up. You're going to be able to take those exams there at Tech Summit for free. So that's awesome. I'm excited to be able to do that for you. So you will be just like if you're used to taking other certification exams, just like that, that certification experience where you walk into a test center, provide your ID, and you have kind of your dedicated station. We'll go into what to expect on our actual Tech Summit day. Want to give you an idea here of what we're doing from a level standpoint. You can see there we've got Dell Certified Associate, Dell Certified Professional, Dell Certified Expert. Our Dell Certified Associate is something that is coming new this year. Really, the idea there is we're going to be able to validate and give you certification on that fundamental knowledge. Do I know storage? And I'm able to prove that across the board I know Dell storage, or server, or networking, or any other technology. As we start to build these out, this associate level will really hit on that foundational first step in the certification, and you can validate your breadth as well as depth of knowledge at an associate level. But really what we're excited about and we're going to talk about today is the certified professional. Because that's what you guys are going to take your exams on, is the certified professional for, depending on which ones you want to do, for SC series, our compellent, for PS series to be our traditional equal logic solution, as well as networking. So really this is designed by our industry expert, or by industry experts, both internal and partners or external, to validate that you know the technology, that you can deploy, that you can manage it, that you can ensure that it's done right, and that anybody that holds this certification, they'll have that credibility that anybody else can look at them and go, wow, you're a Dell certified professional. I know that you're going to be able to do this, and that you're the right person for the job. So it really gives you the ability to differentiate yourself. One thing that is very awesome about this group is we've had these certifications. We started late last year, so you're some of the first people in the industry. You'll be able to say, you know what, I was one of the first that will have these certifications. And then going forward, we will work toward an expert track, and really the idea here is we're going to validate you on kind of our Dell solutions. So you'll be able to prove out not only do you have that advanced knowledge, but I have a deep knowledge and able to validate on multiple technologies and complex solutions. All right. Before I move on, feel free again, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat there. Looks like we might have one question. Oh, okay. Well, feel free, like I said, anytime. If I'm not able to answer the question, then one of our experts on the line will be able to as well. So what do you need to do to prepare for certification? Oh, it's like I just missed it. We do have a question from Marcus. Will there be an expert certification for the the SC series anytime soon? So we're the professional, our higher level, so to speak. You will be able to validate that you can deploy and even do some design with SC. We will look at SC series being included in that expert track, but I can't say that that it's going to be, by the time we're doing Tech Summit or something like that. But I will say that it is on the SC is definitely included in our future plans and roadmap. Uh, any other questions? All right. So what do we need to do to prepare for certification? Well, there's really two ways. I mentioned earlier that we have some training classes available. Those can be scheduled at any time. Well, they can be scheduled and then taken when available. Uh, Really, the target there is if you want to build out. Maybe you definitely have some experience, but you want to take advantage of that expertise from our trainers to provide that additional deep knowledge and be able to really dedicate your time to focus on being able to learn the SC series in this case, or the networking series, or the PS series. And you want to really be able to dedicate your time in a classroom to learning that technology or filling in the gaps. So we do always recommend training, but then in addition to that, there are study guides available, and I'm actually go through and show you where those are at, that you can go and do some additional review. And that really brings us into number two, which is, I am already very experienced in the industry, in this industry. I've been doing this for a long time. Uh, so I want to validate that, or I've been doing this for a long time, and I want to fill in any holes I might have and make sure that I am properly ready for certification. So what do I need to do there? I don't want to go take a class, but I do want to prepare for the certification. Well, like I said, number one, have experience. You want to make sure that you've got that experience of it, that you've done this before. It's not new to you. And we always recommend that you have hands-on experience. Secondly, you want to go out and view our exam study guides. So those are going to be available via dell.com/certification. And I'll show you how to get where those are physically viewed, and go through a short demo here in a little bit. But what those will give you is an overview of the certification itself, as well as additional documentation or additional links to where other documentation can be viewed, and really give you that ability to research and build out and fill in any additional holes that you may feel like you have in preparation for certification. Since in a couple of weeks you all are going to be taking one of our certifications at Tech Summit, I would say you should definitely take advantage of the exam study guides. Go out there, log in, and download those. Take a look at it and see where there might be some areas to do some additional study. Let's see. Like we had a question. Oh yeah, on the SC series. So again, on the expert track, as we're continuing to build out certification, SC series will definitely be considered in those solutions, right? That's definitely a big part of our focus. All right, so on study and just the general, what do I need to do to prepare from a studying perspective or from a training perspective? What other questions might you have for me before I move on? Or anything else previously? Want to make sure I answer all your questions. And I will move on. All right, so once I've studied, right, I've done my preparation, which is A there. I have my relevant experience. I've been doing this. I understand the technology. I've also done either a training class or I've gone through and done some self-study to validate, to make sure that I'm prepared. What do I need to do next? Well, next, typically, you go out and schedule the exam. First, you log into the certification portal and schedule, and then go take it at a Pearson VUE Center. Or alternatively, in addition to being able to take it at the Tech Summit, if you need to take certification exams in the future, we actually just launched online proctoring. So you'll be able to take this in the comfort of your home. If you have a video camera as well as a mic, and so there are some requirements around making sure that we're taking that in a secure environment, because we want to ensure that we're validating the right people and that there's not really a way of, we want to make sure that it's secure, right? So let me go through and show you real quick what the steps are to register. Take a quick look, because one of the key things here is we do want to make sure that you have at least logged into the portal, so that when you come on test day, that's one less step you have to do. You've already created the account, or you've ensured that your account works. Make sure you kind of note your password so you're ready. And then this will also be the process you would go through if you are scheduling in the future. So Dell.com/certification is where you want to go. So www.dell.com/certification. Here is the, over here on the right is where you would log in. If you don't yet have a login, you can click the register now and register a new account. If you haven't done that, I would recommend that you do that shortly after this webinar. Make sure that you've got to log in and it all works. This is also where you're going to go to download and view those study guides. And we also, from here, have where you can link to our training paths in addition to learndell.com/services certification. So here I'd log in, put your email address and password in, and we'll see if this works, or I prepped it. All right, let's do that. Let's put that in again. All right, so once I log into the certification portal, put in my username and password, you'll notice there's a couple things I want you to notice here. One is schedule an exam. Typically, this is where you go out, you click on that, and this takes you to the Pearson VUE website to actually schedule your exam. This is also where our study guides are available. So let's see if this one, no, my shortcuts didn't work this time. All right, so let's look at the study guides real quick. So click on View All Study Guides, and you can see our available study guides for PS Series, Networking, and SC Series. Highly, highly recommend you go out, take a look at those study guides, and that will help you prepare for the certification exam you're getting ready to take. Also, if you weren't taking, now you do not need to do this because you're going to be taking it at Tech Summit. But if you were going to, say, post-Tech Summit or some other time you want to schedule an exam, you want to take our next certification, once we have those experts out there, you're going to want to take that one too. You just click on Schedule an Exam. This will take you to the Pearson VUE website. You can view your exam there and just pick the exam you want to take. Once you click on that, you'll be able to schedule it at either your local testing center or be able to take it online again. Very, very exciting there. Finally, from this, from our portal, go back here, from the dashboard, when you log in, the other thing you have here, all available one place, is you can view your exam results. And this will actually give you which certifications you have passed. It also gives you the ability to go out and download your certification, your actual certificate, as well as a digital badge that can be provided on your email or social media or forum posts. That way you're able to say, hey, look, I am a Dell certified professional, or eventually I'm an expert, or I'm an associate, depending on which technology you're working on or what level you're at. But you'll be able to have that digital proof. It also has the ability, you click on it and it goes right to their validation, right to where you're at, all of your certifications are at, and somebody can view, hey, not only did you say you're valid and I've got my certification, but they can go, a potential customer or employer even could go out and look and see, hey, not only do you say you're certified, but I can click here and see your certification information. So we're actually really excited about that. It does give you the ability to show the world, hey, I'm Dell certified. And that will be available via your exam results right here in our certification portal. All right, before I move on from there, and this is a kind of an image of what that looks like over on the right. What other questions do you have for me along the lines of what the certifications are, initial study and prep, and then we'll go into what you need to do to be ready at Tech Summit. All right, and again, I do want to emphasize, definitely want to take a look at these study resources because this is, as we talked about earlier, a very high-level exam, and since you are doing the professional level, you're kind of like jumping right in and proving yourself at not the base level, right? This isn't an entry-level exam. You're proving yourself at the professional level, and so you'll want to take a look at what's on those study guides. And then toward the end here, that's where we're specifically going to go in and look at each of the exams, what's on the objectives, as well as some sample questions, so you'll have a real good idea of what to expect. Looks like there is one question. Okay, well, we'll jump back. Let's see. You have any idea of technical doc and PDF to help us in study? Yes, so the technical doc in the PDF form is those study guides. So let me jump back here. So if you log into the dell.com/certification portal, you have here view all study guides. This is a PDF document that has an overview of all of the training. You know what? Let me go ahead and just show you a real quick view of that. We'll grab the SC series. I'm sorry, not all the training, but all of the technology itself. Now, this is not going to, I'm going to stress, this won't give you answers, right, for our exams because it's not a brain dump or something like that. But what it is it gives you, this is everything that's going to be on the exam. Let's jump into here. Start to give you a summary of each of the different objectives that are on the exam, as well as then it will have additional links to go view additional documentation in other locations. So it's a kind of a, I guess, a front end to Dell's knowledge on the topic. Give you a high-level overview, as well as then you're able to dig in and go do additional personal review on those certifications. Does that, hopefully that answers your question. At this point, we don't have like a book that would be, but this gives you that high-level overview, as well as the ability to go, here's where you need to go do additional research. And thank you. So looks like we got a couple other questions. We'll wait a minute before we move on. Let's see, be necessary to schedule exam in Pearson VUE after clicking on schedule an exam only during summit, not right now. All right, so yeah, so the question is, will it be necessary to schedule an exam at Pearson VUE? So you will not need to schedule the Tech Summit exam. You have essentially done that for providing, or by letting us know you want to come. But what you do need to do prior to Tech Summit is make sure you can log into the portal, because when you're at Tech Summit and you're getting ready to take the exam, you will need to log into the portal, and then we'll help you launch the exam at Tech Summit. And that actually brings us into our next slide. So it's like I paid you to prompt me. So what do you need to expect at the test center? One, you don't need to schedule because you are taking it at Tech Summit in our test center that we're going to be setting up there for you on site. But you do need to make sure that you have your login created. And I'm going to focus over here on the right for a second. Whoops. Make sure when you create your login on the dell.com/certification website in our portal that your first name and last name match the ID that you're going to provide to us at the test center. This we need to ensure that we don't end up with it's really around test security, right? And this is the standard Pearson VUE validation. When you come in, you do need to have two forms of ID, and they need to match the ID that is in the Pearson Test Center. Okay, the other piece of that is since I know many people will be traveling in, if you're taking the exam and you're not local, make sure that you do have your passport, as that is your validation of your ID. You also need to have some sort of secondary ID. It just needs to have a signature. Most people use a credit card for that. Let's see what other questions we have here. Let's see, so you do not need to bring an exam. Looks like Tom got that. We will have systems available for you. A time bonus for those that are not in native English. So typically, yes, you definitely get an extra 30 minutes if your native language is not English, and that should be available at the Tech Center, but I will validate for us and make sure that we've got that available to those that are taking it, that English isn't their native language. That is definitely available anytime you schedule one of our certification exams, that you would get that additional 30 minutes, assuming that, again, English isn't your first language. We want to ensure that anybody that's taking this is not hampered by that. Okay, so another piece here I do want to focus on is our test times. So we will have the test center available and open from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday and 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Many of you have let us know when you intend to be there, which is awesome. That helps us out. However, I want to make sure you do know it's open seating. So if you come, you sign in, you're ready to take. We're not going to hold you up. But because that's the case, there's possibility for limited seating. So at this point, we have a lot of people that have already said, "Hey, I'm interested in being in." At toward the end of Tuesday, which, as you can see there, our last exam, we actually want to start at about 10:45, and the reason for that is to make sure that everybody is able to complete by the end of the test center being open. Because of that, if you want to ensure that you are able to get in very quickly and there's no waiting for you, I would recommend that you definitely come, if you can, on Monday afternoon or earlier on Tuesday, just to ensure that you don't have to wait to get a test seat. Also, when you come, because it is a secure test center, we'll need to make sure that you leave any personal belongings out. And so optimally, if you're showing up and you're able to not, optimally, if you don't bring your personal belongings, things like cell phone or computer, tablets, especially, those kinds of things we have to keep out of the test center. So we can hold it for you if you do, or if you don't have an option, but would recommend that you leave it in your hotel room or a car when you come into the test center on test day. All right, let's look through these questions here. Unless they've already been answered for everybody. I think we got everybody's questions there answered already. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Smeeze. So again, just a very quick recap, make sure we've got it. So again, it's open seating. Would recommend that you come on Monday if possible or early Tuesday. Make sure you bring 2 forms of ID that will be required. If you don't have that, we can't let you test. We need to validate identities. And if you're able to, please leave any personal items before you come to the test center. And when you sign up, which please make sure you do, sign up in the portal prior to test day. Ensure that your ID matches the name that you registered in the portal. And I think those are the key things there. And also make sure you remember your password that you used for that portal. All right, so gone through what we need to do from a test center standpoint. Also, we've talked about the certifications, kind of what we're doing overall, maybe a little bit of future on what's coming. Also, we're getting ready to go into and kind of deep dive into a few of the 3 certifications that we're providing and give you some sample questions to review. Are there any questions on anything we've talked about so far before we get into the individual exams? The exams we're going to review are the SC Series, PS Series, and the Networking Professional. Okay. All right, we'll hit on the 3 certifications. So the SC Series Storage Professional exam, the exam itself length is 75 minutes. You have 65 questions. It is delivered in English, as we talked about. You would get that additional 30 based off of your country of origin and the language that you speak. And as you can see here, we have kind of a high-level exam overview of what we're going to be testing on and what the percentage of the exam is. So as you can see, the bulk of our exam for the SC Series storage is initialize the array and configure the array. So if you wanted to get the detailed information on each of these, and I would recommend that you go take a look before setting the exam. You can go to pearsonview.com/Dell. But briefly, we look at those the configure and initialize. The initialize would be doing things like, obviously, and doing the initial initialization. Also, doing your setup wizard, doing things like replacing a controller or even updating firmware. Those are things that would be included in initialize. And then in configuration, we'd go into things like installing Enterprise Manager or Dell Storage Manager, doing your setting up your array for various workloads, configuring volumes and folders, connections to servers, things like that is really where we're going to be focused on. Like I said, that's kind of the bulk when we look at that exam itself. And to give you an idea of what one of the questions would look like, here is actually one of our, you won't see this actually on the exam because we can't show you the question and then put it back in the exam, but this is an example of a question that was written and just like the ones we have for the exam. So you can see we've got an exhibit, a couple of storage arrays, connect to the network, and then there's the question really comes down to, this is more of a connectivity, a cabling question. Why can't the technician connect? So deployment technician cables a dual controller system to site network for management. When they try to access the storage center, they're unable to connect. Why are they unable to connect? Anybody feel like they want to jump in and answer that? I won't make you do that unless you really want to. But I do want to give you an example of this is the kind of some of the type of questions you would see. They are multiple choice or multiple answer. So those are the kinds of exams you would see. Or I'm sorry, the type of questions you would see. Let's see. Any other questions on the line that haven't been answered already?
Hey, Jedi, it's Kim. So Rico answered, hopefully you'll review the answer soon and maybe add some explanations to it.
I will, yep. And also along those lines, we also have some technical SME on the line if there are questions around why that is right. So let me look at the yes, and there you are correct. Answer C is correct. Hey, right on. We got multiple answers there. So you guys are there's an example. You're ready. All right. So again, I'm going to back up just for a second with the SC series. 75 minutes. I'm sorry, that went the wrong way. 75 minutes, 65 questions. Your passing score is 70 or 700. I would recommend again that you go out and look at pearsonview.com/Dell. As we look at that, are there any questions around, since we do have a technical expert on the line, are there any questions as to why that would be the right answer or why one of them, the other ones would not? Okay. Looks like it seems straightforward to you all. So we got a couple questions. And all right, so we will jump into the other two. The PS Series Storage Professional. This one's also 75 minutes. So a little bit fewer questions, but because of that, sometimes the questions tend to, the number of questions is based off of things like length and number of answers, and so there's a lot of analysis that goes in from a third party to really determine what each sets of questions should be. But you can see here our focus is under, again, initialize and configure, and it really goes into things like setting up the array for workloads, doing those initial configurations, connecting to your servers, etc. And let's look at that sample question. All right, and this is a sample question for the PS series. Anybody want to jump on that one? Installers adding a new 6210X array into an existing group. And the existing array and switches are 1 gig switches with 10 gig uplink ports. How should the new array be connected? And we've got answer B, and you are correct. Woot! Uplink ports do not have buffers. You guys are awesome. All right, and let's sit on networking. So the networking professional, again, that one is 75 minutes. 60 questions, 700 your passing score. And as you can see here, configuration is again huge. So what is included in configuration for networking? That's going to cover, look at my, so there we're looking at things like controlling and managing plane protocols, configuring VLANs, spanning tree, ACLs, MLAGs and VLT, so you can see there's some quite advanced configuration there as well. So when you go to take the exam, now one thing I do want to clarify here is with the duration being 75 minutes, that's the actual exam duration. Your seat time will be a little bit longer than that, and that is just the maximum, right? If you just knock it out, then you could do it in even less time. We're not going to hold you there. So let's look at a networking question. So I'm not going to read out that graph to you. Let you take a look though. But basically, you need to connect ports 19 and 20 for an in-series switch to a VLAN, to the marketing VLAN. The show VLAN output for the switch indicates results for all ports except 19 and 20. What's the reason for this behavior? And while we're looking at that, so we have a question. We got answer C. And you are correct. Woot! Man, you guys are on fire. That is awesome. So one question that came up, can you take more than one exam? You can absolutely take more than one exam. However, at Tech Summit, I just want to emphasize that because we do have open seating, that we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to take their first one. So that would be the only concern around being able to take multiple. If you want to take 2 exams, and Kim hit it there as well, coming in Monday would be your best bet to make sure that you're able to do that and have the time to sit both of them. All right, and finally we've got, again, go to dell.com/certifications for your study guides. If you're looking for the exam descriptions, I highly, highly recommend you go out and take a look before you sit the exam, as well as be able to get additional information on our competencies. And if you have any questions, we'll provide our information here at the end of the session. Feel free to contact me with any questions, and we also have the deployment certification mailbox. What other questions do you all have for us? I want to make sure we get all of your questions answered before we head out. So we'll discuss 7B, part of the exam. So SCA 7 is not yet on the exam. It will be in the future because it's definitely going to being added to our technology, and as we build out, it will be added. But it is not this time, so you're in the clear on that one. One other thing I forgot to mention, these exams are good for the certification itself is good for 2 years. That question often comes up and I didn't mention it. So it is a 2-year renewal, and we'll work out helping you get through that renewal as well. What other questions do you have for us? Hope to find those answers quickly and easily. I hope you're able to quickly and easily answer them as well. I would love to see you all go in and walk out with those certifications. It'd be awesome. I do really, really appreciate your time. This is awesome that we're able to do this. Like I said, I am super excited about having Dell certifications, and for you all to be some of those people getting those first certifications and being able to really tout that. All right. Give another couple minutes for any further questions. And feel free to review those study guides, the exam descriptions, and again, make sure that you have taken or that you've logged into dell.com/certification just to make sure that you've got an account set up. And that'll speed up your time when you get ready to sit the exam. All right, we'll continue to be here for any further questions. That concludes the actual presentation. Thank you so much for your time. I know you guys are all very busy, and appreciate and excited to have you involved in both Tech Summit as well as our Dell certification program and being able to go out and be some of those first people certified. Thank you so much. And here at the end, we'll also make the recording available. And also, I should have mentioned this earlier, after the certification center is closed, we will have an additional discussion session over our certification program. We'll have a little more roadmap view on that, and I had some questions on that, as well as we'll dig in further to the competencies and future certifications. So don't miss that as well if you're able to make it. Thank you and good luck. You'll have a great afternoon, great evening. And like I said, I'll hang out if you have any further questions.